Time again. It's time for Tongue Tie with Vanessa, and I have updates. I have test results. I have my sleep test results. As part of my tongue tie myofunctional therapy experience, one of the things that my therapist suggested in the very beginning was, in our first session, was you need to get a sleep test. And I was not real keen on the sleep test. I said, oh, I'm not going to go sleep at a clinic. You know, that just seems like, ugh, I put that off. I've had more than one person say you should go get a sleep test, but I just didn't want to do it. Like, I thought I'll have a crappy sleep. And she said, no, you can do the sleep ring at home. Like, it's a ring, it's an app, and you can, wear it for a few days, and then it uploads and gives the information from the comfort of your own home. So I'm like, okay, I will do that. The app is called the Sleep Image app. And it was this ring. I think I showed it to you in another video. I showed you the rings. I've already returned it in. But you wear the ring, it hooks up to an app, and then before you go to bed, you press, that you're to record, and then it records all your movements throughout the night. Now, I did this for, I think we did 6 days, maybe 7 days, which is a lot. So I have a lot of days to work with. But I have to tell you, I feel like I had my crappiest sleep. Although the last night I thought, okay, I had pretty good sleep. At any rate, she sends it off, and then what happens is a doctor reads through and analyzes all of the data that's from each night and then gives you the report. One of the reasons that it's so important to get the sleep test that I didn't want to get, when you're dealing with tongue tie or any kind of mouth oral issues or sleeping issues, they have to use that. They say because oftentimes you need to rule out, if there's any other underlying health conditions that could be affecting the, if you want a better picture of what is going on, then you need the dang sleep test. Initially, my myofunctional therapist said, you know what, we could probably do, when the results come in, if you want, we can do a Zoom call. It's usually pretty easy, and if you don't want to have to come in. So I'm like, okay, that's great. So she texted me and says, hey, Vanessa, your test results are back in. And she says, I think it's better that you come in and we go over these in person. That we go over these in person. Now, if you're like me, your antenna goes up and you think, uh-oh, what did she find? So of course I text her back, oh, is it something bad? Can you give me a hint? And she says, well, you should just come in. She says you can come in on, it was like maybe 5 days later in the week, or she goes, I happen to have a cancellation this morning. Now, let me just tell you, I had the worst night's sleep. I was so dang tired, but I'm like, and it was like an hour away, and I thought, I can't wait for like 6 days. I need to know this. I'm like, I'll be there. I will be there to find out what is happening with my sleep. So these are the charts. This is what it looks like, and it's called the Vivo score, and it's a sleep quality report. And so it gives you sleep quality, it gives you efficiency, it gives you sleep opportunity, the latency, the duration. It tells you whether it has a sleep apnea score, and then it has sleep pathology in there. And then it also literally, this tells you so much. It tells you the oxygen saturation rate. It gives you your heart rates, apnea duration, if you've had any episodes where you're not breathing. It goes in, and it has so many little things. It took her over an hour to just go over 1 day's worth of info so that I could kind of understand. And basically, when you've got 5 to 14, if you've got under 5 score, then you're good to go. If you have between 5 and 14, that's considered mild apnea, and then 15 to 29 is moderate, and 30 plus is severe. In order to be an apnea, from what I understand, in order for it to register as an apnea event, meaning a period of time that you aren't breathing, it needs to be at least 10 seconds, I believe. Now so she was going through all of my different readings, and there was a few alarming things. First of all, I had over 200 episodes of as much as 140 seconds of not breathing throughout the night. Not every night, but several of the nights, which is very alarming to me. What was even more alarming was my heart rate many times throughout the night was 125 beats per minute. I've always run a little bit on the higher side, but that's like running a marathon. So clearly something was going on in my sleep. Something else that they show you, here's this chart here. And the chart it's called the 0.0 It says stable REM, unstable REM, REM, and wake. And so stable is dark blue, unstable is light blue, and then the REM and the wake is yellow. And you want to have mostly dark blue. Well, if you look at my chart, and this is consistent throughout, I am pretty much hardly any dark blue at all. I have all unstable sleep, and then the REM, and it's a little tricky because the REM and the wake are both in yellow, but when you look down on the graph, for the most part, those were wakes. So you could see like I was awake 9, 10, 15 times per night. Clearly something was going on. Overall, you know, when you see the reds, that's like not good. Yellow is kind of like, you know, caution. Green is all good. You can see most of the nights I had reds, and then reds and yellow. Here's what the doctor had to say. Types out here on the back, says impressions and recommendations: moderate based on the SAHI equal 18 plus SRDI equals 19, associated with significant oxygen desaturation, 73%. In fact, there were times that my oxygen level got in the low 70s during the night, which is crazy. So for treatment for obstruction sleep apnea, patient preference, compliance, blah, 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 treatment options include the continuous positive airway pressure, which is the CPAP, which no thank you, unless it was really, really like on my deathbed, but no, I don't want to wear that. Not if possible. So I'm not going to do that. There is the oral appliance, the OAT. Then there's epigenetic orthodontic therapy. Then there's the myofunctional therapy, which I'm already doing. And then there's something maybe with the ENT. EOT are likely to improve treatment. And ENT surgical procedures if necessary. Finishes up with a few tips. You know, if your BMI is over 25, lose some weight. Don't drink before bed. Don't drive when sleepy. And I don't do any of those things. We had already talked about the appliance, which is the upper and lower. We talked about that prior to the sleep test because I'm wearing my oral mouth guard, but it's not pushing my jaw and relaxing my jaw at all like it should be doing. So I already knew that was in the works, you know, most likely that I would get that appliance that had the upper and the lower. I'm happy about. I already sleep with the lower mouth guard, and it's like my little security blanket. I love it. And now I feel like I'd be totally comfortable with the top, especially if it would relax my jaw and put it in the proper space so that I can sleep better and relax the jaw. I'm all in. But I didn't realize I was going to be getting this mouthpiece because of sleep apnea. And you know, she said if you don't fix it, over the years, it gets worse. Girl scheduled me for the C-scan. You need to get a C-scan, which is a scan that scans your jaw, your mouth, your neck, kind of this whole area to see what's going on, and I guess your airways as well. And this appliance is about $3,000. Now, I have not checked with my insurance yet to see how much that it will or won't cover. I know this office that I'm using, they don't do insurance, but if my insurance will cover it, which I'm crossing fingers they'll cover at least some, maybe, then I can submit that to them. Okay, so spoiler alert. I went to that C-scan appointment, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Yeah, there's a lot more going on with me than just the tongue. There's a lot going on, and this process is going to be a lot more than I had expected. So that, I'm going to put a little bow on the sleep testing, and then my next video we will talk about my initial exam for my C-scan. And by the way, I'm going to get my C-scan results, like the full results. I'm going in tomorrow to go through all of that with my doctor. But just the initial hour and a half consultation to go through the initial findings was educational to say the least. Now it's time for my second set of my tongue tie exercises for the day. And by the way, my tongue is getting stronger. You know what? I'm not quite as tired as I used to be. It's still a lot of work, but my tongue is getting stronger. It's getting stronger. These tongue exercises really work.